economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. First, Enugu State. APC moves to rescue Labour Party candidate. And on National Assembly cuts short recess, holds emergency session. On Guba elections, INEC urges party to obey rules. And on politics, APC buying up opposition parties, Labour Party alleges. And on PDP, controversies trail Rivers Kogi Congress. And we are still on nationwide protest. We'll look at the 15 points agenda. We are open for adverse placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Corruption not in my country.
Why not? They jack us up and down like this now.
Nobody.
Why you ask? Oh?
Because this road where they see, so you no guarantee safe delivery. We just they vote for government, but will not get good governance. Road so in no day. Light to Usa. The infrastructure we can't talk to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I'm expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
That behavior no good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussion.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money, we put in the bank.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Honorable Lan Ayarebu Wisdom. He's a political analyst. He is the pioneer leader, Deservation Project 774 local government areas. Good morning, Honorable Wisdom, and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Choma. Good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Enugu State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has embarked on a campaign to free the Labour Party House of Assembly candidate for Enugu South Urban State Constituency, Bright Ngene, from jail. The Labour Party candidate defeated his closest rival and PDP candidate, Sam Ngene, during the 2023 general election. He scored over 5,200 votes, while the PDP counterpart secured 2,000 votes. He was subsequently sworn in as an Enugu State House of Assembly member. However, the PDP candidate went to the tribunal, praying the court to declare that the election was inconclusive. Consequently, the appeal tribunal ordered a rerun in 8 polling units, with the rerun failing to occur on 2 occasions over reports of manipulation and violence. However, ahead of a yet-to-be-announced date for the rerun, a matter which involved the Labour Party candidate and his Akuke community 7 years ago was resurrected at the Enugu magistrate court, with the magistrate convicting and pronouncing a 7-year jail term against the Labour Party candidate amidst protests. The matter was an alleged diversion of 15 million naira meant for the Akuke community in Enugu South local government area into Ngene's law firm's bank account and subsequent disbursement of 11 million naira from the funds to a contractor who constructed the community's road. But our addressing reporters at the Enugu Correctional Facility where Ngene was, the APC chairman, Chief Ugochukwu Abala, condemned what he called unjust imprisonment of the Labour Party candidate, describing it as a miscarriage of justice. Justice Abala accused the ruling People's Democratic Party in Enugu State of masterminding the arrest and just sentence of the lawmaker to pave way for his candidate to emerge victorious in the rerun election. At the press conference, the Enugu PDP denied being responsible for the travails of the Labour Party candidate. Its chairman, Augustine Namani, insisted that the allegations of a political witch hunt by the Enugu state government in the trial and sentencing of Bright Ngene was a total falsehood. The PDP explained that Ngene's investigation, trial and conviction were at the instance people for the theft of 15.7 million naira belonging to their community and wondered how it could have related to the 2023 House of Assembly contest. Honorable Wisdom, what is your take on this matter?
Chama, thank you very much for the subject matter. Actually, it's so pathetic and inexorable for what is happening, the situation in Enugu State. And again, the young parliamentarian who happened to be a first-timer under the platform of Labour Party and who won the election. We all know what happened in the general election on the 18th of March, 2023. And by grace of God, myself seated here, I was also on the ballot on that very day, in my own state actually. But it's painful that a political party that I believe in, that I have been so proud of in the time past, which is the People's Democratic Party, has condescended this low. Because I'll tell you the truth. I grew up in Enugu, and I know what Enugu politics is all about. When it doesn't go your way, it goes violent. And it's so unfair and not so good when we continue to experience things like this, especially seeing the people who occupy the powers of the executive arm of the state to continually, truncate the will of the people, just to achieve their collective. If you look at, for example, what is also happening in Abia State, is also related. Where the Labour Party emerged victorious in terms of the governorship election, and the PDP also won in some constituencies. Even the court also has upheld the PDP's victory. But up till today, you see that even the Speaker of the State House of Assembly is yet to swear in the Abia State PDP candidate. And these things continue to become a norm, an acceptable mantra in our society, which is not good for our democracy. Like we always say, that democracy is a government of the people, for the people, and as well, it also brings habitation and cohesion for the people. But it's quite unfortunate that the way and manner whereby our democracy here in Nigeria plays out, believe me, those who occupy the seats of governance are not true Democrats. I stand to be corrected because it has been a norm. It has been consistent. Look at the situation. It is quite clear that, yes, this young man had a case over 7 years ago. And we are not trying to make a stand for him or stand in the gap for him. But this is just a witch hunt, just to make sure that the will of the people is subverted. Because why would our judiciary, considering the fact that this young man has scored over 5,200 votes, as against the person followed up to who is the runner-up, which scored about 2,000 votes. And this is the same constituency that was part of the place where the governorship election was declared. And it was never tagged inconclusive. So why would the governorship election within that same constituency be conclusive. Yet, the State House of Assembly election results are tagged inconclusive. So this shows you also the lacuna, and as well as the deficiencies, especially within our judiciary. Because these are areas where our judiciary need to really, really scale up. Because it has consistently continued to happen where you see, you know, a few individuals, because they find themselves within the corridors of power, continue to, you know, buy their way within the judiciary against the will of the masses, against the will of the people, against the will of those who are real custodians of the society.
In this instance, yes, you said it's a political witch hunt.
Absolutely.
By the PDP against the...
And remember, I'm also from the PDP, so when I say that, I make bold claim to that.
Yes, but now the question is, let's just say, let's go with your point that it's a political witch hunt. But the question is, did the Labour Party candidate commit the crime?
Okay.
That would be the question.
Okay.
Because there is a crime that has been committed and he's convicted of the crime. Probably you would say, why was the matter resurrected after 7 years?
Okay.
But the crime has been committed and it can be resurrected at any point in time. Is it not time that political leaders and public office holders be held accountable for their crimes?
In as much as I want to accept what your last submission is, that all our political holders, public office holders ought to be held accountable. I'll be very, very, very frank and honest with you. The question we fail to ask ourselves, why was that particular case resurrected in a magistrate court? That's the first instance.
Okay.
And second of all, according to the statement, I wish I can maybe see the judgment of that particular magistrate court. Then I can be able to... I'm coming.
Part of, I wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
Part of the concerns that
there was a misappropriation.
The APC had
Okay.
when they said they have reported the magistrates to the NJC. And they said that in convicting the man, there was no address. Like, he did not address... In his judgment, there was no judgment, no address, like
no complete verdict.
Reading out what happened, why he's doing what he's doing, why he's convicting him. It was just convicting the man. There was no address, no legal address whatsoever. So probably there will be no judgment for you to read. What
Exactly.
You see
Now, Choma.
conviction.
Now, Choma, you don't see the point I'm trying to make, because
it was hurriedly done.
It's not just even it being hurriedly done, but it was done for a purpose, which is to make sure that the people's will is subverted.
All right.
Because if you recall, like I said, I'm a member of the PDP and I stand anywhere to be challenged. What is happening in Enugu State, it is not good for our democracy. And if you look at, like I said, just like what you presented, even from the reading, the appropriation that he was alleged about was about 15.3 million. While, according to reports as well, that 11 million has already, you know, been dispensed for community project. Now the question is, what was even this particular project that totaled this sum? And what was this young man's portfolio within the community that gave him the entitlement to be the one to receive such a fund? And where was this fund also coming from? Because sometimes these are issues that happen that you say community this and community that, sometimes NDDC projects here and there. We don't know where these monies come from. You know, and when these monies are meant for the people, I can also tell you here that I won't be surprised that that particular reason, the reason why this young man now today is being, you know, held against the will of the people and against his own will, is because that particular fund was used for the use of the people.
Now, Honorable Wisdom, very quickly before we move to the next story, is this a case, like you mentioned, that it's political witch hunts? I mean, is this the first time? Isn't this, if I may use the language, the modus operandi within the Nigerian political ecosystem? A situation where probably you're a strong voice in the opposition and issues will be used. You can recall the case of Olisameto. I mean, we can call names over and over again, and suddenly these strong voices were silenced Because when you start opposing and you start critiquing the government, EFCC comes after you. And in some cases, when you defect to the ruling party, your sins are forgiven.
In the words of Adam Soshomole.
So, what do you have to say to that?
Well, all I have to say...
Can you relate that to... Is it similar to what is going
well,
on?
it's not just only similar, but I can tell you with all confidence that it's a situation whereby it's a recurring script that Nigerians are now used to. But I think my fears are not just only for the situation or even the people of Enugu State precisely. My fears is for our judiciary, because this continues to demonstrate the incompetence found within our judiciary. It continues to show the level of desecration of our judicial system. It continues to show the level by which it shows that our judiciary has a lot to do, because we cannot find ourselves in a society whereby, just like in the normal terminology, that the court remains the last hope of a common man. And yet, the court becomes a vessel where the hope of a common man is dashed into pieces.
Well, we'll hold on to that thought. Probably in consequent stories, we'll look at judicial rascality and why right now it seems to be rampant in subsequent stories. But then let's go to National Assembly. National Assembly cuts short recess, holds emergency session. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at this story. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just a jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so no dey. Light usa. The infrastructure uncle, we can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayon Naira.
For country, you suppose...
Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation.
And with broadcast support.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for...
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. National Assembly has recalled its members from annual recess and will hold an emergency plenary session on Wednesday to discuss issues of national importance. ATN gathered from credible sources privy to the development that the decision was not unconnected to the planned August 1 nationwide protest against hardship in the country. Recall that both Senate and House of Representatives had last week Tuesday adjourned plenary till September 17, 2024 for lawmakers to observe their annual vacation. The emergency plenary was disclosed in a notice by the Clerk of the House, Francis Akubueze, sent to senators, saying the plenary will hold by noon on Wednesday. Similarly, spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Rep. Rotimi Akin Jr., in a statement on Monday, said the plenary would focus on critical matters requiring immediate legislative attention. Akin noted that it was customary for the House to reconvene after recess to address pressing national issues. Joining me again this morning is Chizi Yom Masila.
Thank you.
Social political analyst. Chizi, welcome. I hope I did not massacre your name, by the way.
Well, I forgive you.
You're right. What is your take on the issue of National Assembly cutting short their recess?
In the first place, are they supposed to even go on recess? Are we not on emergency as a country, for instance? I mean, you already know if the cutting short of their national recess, of their recess is as a result of the planned protest. This protest was already there before they even went on the recess in the first instance. So why are they cutting it short? I think we have emergency in this country that all of us must sacrifice, including them. Some of us was already accusing them that they were going to abandon the country for all of us to face the youth. This is no longer about even the youth, the Nigerian, for those who wants to protect, and they were going to abandon this country. But they are coming back. But okay, I want to say, okay, it's okay that they are back. and that we will take it off from there to see what they are going to come up with. Are they going to fix all that we are talking about between today and tomorrow, and then the August 1st protest? That's
so
just,
in your opinion, in the first place, that research shouldn't have helped?
That research shouldn't have helped. If they are sensitive to what is happening. Even apart from...
Now, the House of Representatives will argue that they are sensitive to what is happening because if you recall, they did slash their salary by half.
Their own salary by half?
Yes.
Yes, and then go to only sex. It's see,
okay.
You know, let me say this. I am not saying they shouldn't be paid their salary. I don't even know how much is their salary. May not even care to know how much is their salary. I have said it's not just about salary. For instance, if you have a House of Rep member in any amount of money, and those money are tagged with their aids, the first question is to ask whether do they have those aids, and secondly, are they paying those aids? Because I am privy to one or two of them who had employed aids, and when paying the aids, what is required of. Because of course, if a member of the House, each member of the House of Reps employs 15% as demanded by the status quo, that means if you times 15 times 360 persons, we will be reducing or scrapping from the unemployment we are all crying for. The first is that, are they even doing it? Where is their constituency offices where people are employed? Where is their constituency offices? Because those are the things that makes up whatever is called their salary. Where is the constituency office where people...
Their salary is the basic. Then all these addendums, you know.
All of that. I am even assuming that
what is total package?
When I'm looking at the total package, because if you say we slash your salary, for instance, you'll be shocked that the governor does not take up to 2 million naira. So if you are saying I'm slashing my salary, what is that? But we're looking at all of this addendum. What are they doing to do? Go to their constituency office. If you go outside the country, you can meet any of your rep anywhere. But this, if I have to, as an equal man, if I have to meet my rep member, I have to travel to Abuja. It's not costing me more than just going to the constituency office where I would have met the person ordinarily and discuss. And the person is supposed to be there by at least Thursday, Friday, for me to see the person, or Friday, Monday.
All right. Honorable Land, what is your take on this National Assembly going on recess?
First of all, thank you.
And then cutting it short to come back.
Absolutely. Thank you, Choma. You know, as a parliamentarian, I've always advocated for the parliament being the bedrock of a democratic society. And as Nigerians, it's shameful, very, very regrettable, that in a case, in a country as big, as large as Nigeria, at the state, at its economic state right now, that those who we stood on under the sun to vote into power will continue to maradonically continue to express their shenanigans consistently, you know, without showing recourse to the people that they are representing. First of all, what are the functions of a parliamentarian? A parliamentarian has 5 functions. One is to make laws. Secondly is to advocate and represent the people. Thirdly is to educate the people. Fourthly is to engage in oversight functions that are of economic benefit to the people. And last but not the least is to make sure that the dividends of democracy gets to the constituencies that they represent. And then adding the voice to what my brother said, most of these are parliamentarians, especially within the National Assembly, within the Senate, and as well as the House of Reps. They are not first timers. I will use one person, for example, Rep. K.O. Chinda. He has been in the House of Reps, and you recall vividly that right now he is the current chairman, minority leader of the opposition. But it's so painful that, like he said, we don't even have a functional, when we talk about functional operative rep locations, liaison offices, that members of these constituencies ought to come from time to time to have town hall meetings. How do you say you represent people when you don't get to meet with them from time to time? How do you say you represent people when there are no, people-friendly laws you make? Rep. Okechinda, I'm not trying to pick him out, but he has been in the House of Rep for more than, 3 dispensations now. Let's go back to the bills he has sponsored or co-sponsored. How many of them are community friendly? How many of them are people friendly? How many of them, has really, ignited projects within the locality where he's represented? The answer is no. And it's so painful when we see members of the Senate, the 108 senators that we have, continue to, miscarriage a whole lot of things, and these are people that we hold at high esteem. You recall vividly that today, by the hierarchies of power in Nigeria, immediately you count the president, which is 001, and the vice president, who is 002. The 003 is the Senate president. The 004 is the deputy Senate president. The 005 is the speaker of the House of Rep. And the 006, the same as the deputy speaker. But it's so painful. How did we get down to this state? As of 1999 to 2007, you recall vividly, when Obasanjo, President Olusegun Aremu Matthew Obasanjo, was the president of Nigeria. Then we have the likes of Austin Okpara from our River State. We have a lot of them from that spoke for the people. But it's so painful. And today, look at the economic bottleneck that Nigerians are facing. It is not kept for only the poor. Like one of my respected, distinguished senators, Senator Alin Dume, submitted on Arise TV. He said he's scared, and I can tell you with all confidence that I'm scared of the state of what Nigeria is going to become in the next 2 days. Because, believe me, they say a hungry man is an angry man. And no government can be long secure without a formidable opposition, says Benjamin Disraeli in the year 1748. And it has become it has fallen to a level whereby the people who has elected these people need to form the opposition. And the only way they can do that is for them to do the constitutional responsibility by standing to either recall these people or engage in protest. I'm not saying that violent protest, I'm not endorsing that. But what are we trying to say? The high level of food scarcity is skyrocketed so much. Even the inflation rate today, you recall vividly that in the year 2016, when President Muhammadu Buhari did his 1 year anniversary, the rate of inflation metamorphosed from 3.5% to 13%. And Nigerians were crying. Statistics has it. Nigerian budget, Ministry of Budget has it. Then from the very moment 2023, 1 year in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it has skyrocketed to over 40%, 42.3% precisely. Now, where are we? Imagine that a bag of rice that was sold at 12,000 as at 2015 and at 24,000 as at 2023 is now sold at 100,000. What is the rationale for such an inflation? So it shows that even those who we have asked to represent us, they are not doing justice to Nigerians. Come to think of it, look at the speed of light whereby the new national anthem was passed. Look at the speed whereby most of the things that has nothing to bring economic value to Nigerians. Take for instance, the Senate president came up publicly to tell Nigerians that if the president makes a request of any jet, that he will give assent to it. And even before we get to hear what is happening, there was a budget that was passed for over 150 billion naira for Mr. President to acquire a new aircraft. Why Nigerians, those who own the society, those who are constitutionally owners of the country, continue to suffer in abject poverty? Why have we downgraded Nigeria to this level? And yet we continue to be pride as the giant of Africa. It's so painful and so disdain that our leaders and those who have continued to expect to advocate for our dividends of democracy continue to perplexly treat Nigerians the way they do. And it's so regrettable. Believe me, calling off the recess, come to think of it, like my brother submitted, why was even the recess embarked upon when Nigeria was burning? The average Igbo man say that no man goes hunting when their house is on fire. And Nigeria is on fire, and you're talking about going on recess. Believe me, it's regrettable for members of the National Assembly to continue to treat Nigeria.
Do you think this plenary they are going to hold will make any difference at all?
The truth is that there is no way that the plenary has any water as to what is going to happen, because come to think of it, does that go any way to enforce the president to give his emergency assent on some of the policies that Mr. President has announced to Nigerians? Does that reduce the cost of electrification? that almost everybody now has turned to band A, and all of a sudden people are seeing outstanding debt that they never incurred?
Some persons may argue, because I mean, as of yesterday, the federal government have decided to subsidize the price of rice, the 50 kg rice, in certain locations, and a 50 kg rice right now will be going for 40,000 naira.
And Choma, let me also, I agree with you. But in as much as the federal government made such a submission, which is so regrettable, to hear so. No. I want you to get the point where I'm coming from. Come to think of it, Nigeria has over 2 million members of the state, and you're subsidizing only rice. Come to think of it, an average family of over 4 persons with their husband and wife, can a bag of rice sustain these people? Not giving them even standard diet.
Subsidizing the rice,
yes,
it's not time bound. Probably it is to cushion the effects of what is going on in face of the impending protests. The government has not come out to say that moving forward is going to be a permanent thing, or it's going to run all through 2024 into 2025. But it's just a move that the government has made, and they said at designated locations, which for now is not yet clear, has not been announced. So that's a statement by the government, probably yet to be implemented. So you're saying for you it has placebo effect, and in the long run will not affect anything positively.
So I will summarize with a submission, especially to Mr. President, that there is no economy, world economy, that has ever grown with cushioning of what they call it, subsidization of food, and as well as making provisions for palliatives. It has never ever been a standard for any economy that is sustainable. And Mr. President, as you listen to me, it is very important that you go back to your drawing board, because you gave Nigerians a hope. You said that you've come to renew the hope of Nigerians. And there is need for most of the good policies that you, out of your testament and most of your political promises, expedite action, because Nigerians, they put their trust in the government of the day, and you must deliver on your words. Thank you.
All right, Chizzy, very before I get your final submission on this, I need to clarify something, a statement you made when you were talking about the House of Rep members. You say that they have 15 aids and provisions, they are being paid for the 15 aids.
Yeah, sure.
Now, House of Rep members are only allowed to have 5 aids.
Okay.
And those 5 aids are directly paid by the government. Right, it doesn't go to the House of Rep members. So they are allowed to have 5 aids, or directly paid by the government. Perhaps for House of Rep members that choose to have above that designated number, probably will be sponsoring that expenses from their personal pocket, from their income. But then, what is your final submission on this move by the National Assembly? I'll also ask you the same question I asked Honorable Lance. Do you see this making any difference at all?
In this country, we believe on sandwich programs. I don't know why we do that. For instance, he said there is now a subsidy. I would want to say a temporary subsidy on rice. It's not been put into action yet, but that's just a pronouncement by the president, which of course is actionable. But the first question is, if you do it now, like you have said, there's a designated place for all of us to go. So the 200 million Nigerians, we pay transport from somewhere to go to a particular place to collect, to buy rice. That means that some of us would have even paid more than what we would have even bought the rice at 100,000 naira in the first instance. Are you not telling us, see, if you give us a policy and we know that this policy is traceable, that we're saying that, look, we're doing something that by October, by December, or by next harvest, the food will come down. Nigeria will begin to look at that. You are not telling us, you know what they just did? Maybe they just came to a round table and said, these guys are hungry. Just do something and distract them. And that's what they do. You are not going to bring palliative. Palliative are we in war? That means they have also accepted that we're in war situation.
All right. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu on Monday, July 29, urged political parties and their candidates for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections to adhere to the rules. He expressed concern over the acrimony and tension characterizing the campaigns. Speaking at the quarterly meeting with political party leaders, Yakubu also highlighted the recent attack on the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in Edo State, which resulted in the death of a security personnel. The INEC chairman also noted that only 53 days left until the Edo State election, some political parties had yet to submit the list of their polling and collation agents, despite the portal closing on Tuesday, July 30. Now, let me start with you, Chizzy. If you recall, a few days ago, INEC came out to say that they've not received reports of violence and there are no security threats. In fact, in their exact language, yes, they said there were no security threats with regards to those states' elections. And then people were wondering, and there were concerns in quarters, like, is INEC unaware of the shooting at the airport junction that happened, the attack on the Deputy Governor Shaibu and the APC candidate Obeblo? There were concerns around that. Because, of course, for that kind of attack to happen and INEC comes out to say that there are no security threats, one would wonder who was being attacked. Are these not politicians belonging? And you recall the controversy that has trailed Shaibu's impeachment and defection to APC. Now the question is, INEC has come out to say that parties should obey the rules, and now in their statements they are acknowledging that there was an attack on a political party. Do you see Edo State politics being free of violence? The Edo State Guba election that is coming forth, being free of violence?
I only pray so, because I don't even see a violence-free election in Nigeria. All I do is to pray that there should be a violence-free election. In fact, that statement by INEC should go back to the chairman. He should play by the rules.
Oh.
That is the chairman. The INEC should play by the rules. See, we have always looked at the people as not playing by the rules. You see, there is this thing that ignites violence. It is if you, who is the umpire, is not playing by the rules. In this place today, if you say the time to open this office is by 8 and the man who is holding the key comes by 12, just be sure that the staff will, or the staffers will come by 2 p.m. the next day. So you need to play by the rules. So if INEC stays, it's like a man saying to his children, oh, you know, today you must greet me. I just know that I'm the father. Play the role of a father, and they will just give you that. Let INEC play by the rules. And if you know there's a violence somewhere, you cancel the election. If you know somebody's rigging the election, you cancel it. If you know this is happening, you do the right thing. As soon as you are doing the right thing, the people will queue up. See, Nigerians are not very disobedient people. Nigerians are, it is still the same Nigerians that if you fly abroad and will queue up to go to train. It's not Nigerians. But here we will rush over it. Because if you don't also rush in Nigeria, the train will not wait for you, if there's train at all. No. So in INEC should, in the first place, play by the rules. He's talked about, you know, the inconsistency in security report. Let me blame that on the security personnel, because INEC takes their report not from you. INEC takes their report from the security apparatus around the state that gives them report. Now that a security man is down, so there's insecurity. There is somebody who is down. So the other people who are politicians, they can die. It doesn't matter. INEC is saying that they can mobilize their material to Edo, and they have all it takes to mobilize their material, even in a war zone. That's what they're saying. So right now, I am saying to Mahmoud, play by the rules. Right. Let INEC play by the rules in Edo, and let's have somebody win.
All right. Honorable Lands, Chizzy is saying INEC should play by the rules. That statement should apply to INEC itself and not the political parties. Do you stand with that?
Choma, if you observe that I was wailing in laughter while my brother was making his submission, because it's so, I want to choose the right word, inexonerable for INEC to continue to deceive Nigerians with false hope. With falsehood. Sometimes when I speak, I like being practical. Okay. I ran and I contested the last general election, I ran for State House of Assembly. And I can tell you that if there are those who abuse the INEC Act, are all INEC agents. And it's so painful that at the end of the day, the chairman will also have the temerity to come up publicly to continue to advocate for Nigerians, to allow them, to give them free will to continue to perpetrate the evil on Nigerians. And it's so bad. If you read the 2022 INEC Act as amended, you'll understand that INEC need little or no supervision for Nigerians to enjoy free, fair, and equitable elections. But it's so painful that at the end of the day, we'll continue to see the same thing. And again, I want to tell you, I stand to be challenged, that the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood, has taken side in his statement. Because if you look at what he said, there are elections in 2 states. But he made mention of an attack on one party. And we know,
in those states.
In those states precisely, one party. I wouldn't want to call the party, but you know where I'm going to. And the reason, we already know that the ball has shifted to the goalpost. We already know what's going to happen. Already they have continued to say that in those states must change hand. But let me tell Professor Mahmood, the Nigerians are no fools. It is very, very, very unpleasant for you to come out and tell Nigerians to be very, very, very amicable, to come out and be, be guided, and they come cast their vote, and in few hours, their will is subverted. It shouldn't be nice, and it is not nice. What am I trying to say? INEC, just like my brother submitted, should play by their rules. Nigerians have grown in terms of digital technology that we no longer need even the PVCs to conduct elections. Why do we have NIN? Why is it that the NIN cannot be, manipulated? Anybody anywhere within Nigeria, as long as Nigeria is concerned today, Nigeria is technically and digitally globalized to a level whereby you don't need to even stress yourself for you to stand under the sun, for you to be able to cast your vote. And INEC has the capacity, quote me, to give Nigerians fair and free elections in all the 36 states of Nigeria and the 774 local governments in Nigeria. So coming out to continue to tell us that security is an issue, why should we even continue to make provision for security budget during elections? When digitally elections can be conducted, we continue to see what is happening in the US. We also continue to see what's happening in other places. And INEC is coming to tell us there was an attack against the APC governorship candidate of Edo State. Are you not aware that 4 policemen were gunned down yesterday in Imo State, including a POS operator? Why didn't INEC, highlight the security tension also in Imo State, even though the elections are concluded? Because if you want to talk about the security architecture of the state or the security challenges that we're having, I agree with you.
INEC cannot make
INEC has a constitutional duty to conduct elections for Nigerians.
So INEC cannot make reference to a state that has security challenges that is not
conducting elections.
Exactly.
I agree with you. But in as much as INEC does not have that liberty to engage in giving us reports on security architecture or security reports happening in other states, INEC should come up with the status quo that they have already prepared to give us a free and fair election, that we no longer need even the security agents and personnel to continue to aid and abet them in subverting the will of the people.
So, Honorable Lan, in your opinion, elections can be done remotely since Nigeria is now digital.
When you use the word remotely, it looks as if we are even incorporating Nigerians that are in diaspora. Elections in Nigeria can be done digitally within the Nigerian state without even us having any need for security budgets.
I want to understand, when you say digitally within Nigerian state, being done remotely means you can do it from the comfort of your house.
Absolutely, but also remember that when you say remotely, you can also be talking about those in diaspora. And we're not talking about those in diaspora, we're talking about those within the Nigerian jurisdiction.
It can be done remotely within Nigeria.
Yes, sure. Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
All right, hopefully we'll get there one day.
It's a direct message to Professor Mahmood.
All right. Ahead of the 2027 general election, the Labour Party has accused the All Progressive Congress of buying up all opposition political parties to make President Bola Tinubu the consensus presidential candidate for all the opposition parties. Labour Party also accused the ruling party of instigating a crisis in the opposition parties and using it as an avenue to either hijack the party or lure its members into the APC, including the Labour Party elected representatives, citing internal crisis, thereby reducing the opposition party's strength. The APC and Tinubu are making efforts to turn Nigeria into a one-party system, according to him. They are busy working at mechanizations and trying to buy up political parties, both in the east and the north, with the aim of weakening the opposition ahead of the 2027 general election. Furthermore, the Labour Party suggested that the APC is working hard to use hunger as a weapon to get the votes of the poor Nigerians in 2027. Honorable Lance, let me start with you. Strong allegations, wouldn't you say? Now, in the first place, if Labour Party has, according to them, have come to realize that this is the game the ruling party is playing now, does it not, behoove on them to ensure that probably their party is foolproof of all this? But how come they have allowed the crisis to fester and exacerbate to a point where their party right now is in the state it is? What has happened to their internal mechanisms to reconcile and resolve disputes?
First of all, Labour Party coming now to drop that public statement, believe me, if you ask me, it's late on arrival, because it's just kind of making me to understand that the Labour Party, in their right sense, has come to acknowledge that there are no free meals, even in Freetown. But like I will always say, if you remember, the former Vice National Chairman, APC Northwest, Alhaji Salihu Lukman, once said that the APC government, federal government, ably led by President Muhammadu Bola Ahmed Tinubu, my own president, that from the body language that the president and his executive has continued to show, it shows that he is just intending to run a one-term. But
he made that statement.
He made that statement based on the body language. Statement. In as much as you, as an unbiased umpire, as a journalist you are, ought to see that as sarcasm. Myself, as a true politician, understand what that particular message is all about.
You understand the sarcasm?
Absolutely. So now, what am I trying to say? First of all, Mr. President is aware that Nigerians are no longer happy with him. Mr. President, in as much as he's aware that Nigerians are not happy with him, has continuously surrounded himself with kleptocrats, in the words of Alin Dume.
Well, Alin Dume said the president is not aware that Nigerians are unhappy with him. Alin Dume also said that the president is not aware of the real state of the nation.
But you also agree with me that Alin Dume also submitted that those who have surrounded Mr. President are kleptocrats.
Well, in his words.
In his words. And I believe me, I love to use that word, because that word really describes the state of those who have found themselves within the corridors of power of the presidency. And if you look at what is happening, the APC continuously, go into people's parties to incite other parties. There's a lot of divisions among the oppositions. We already know that all these things are architectural drawing of the APC as regards to 2027 forthcoming election. But I can tell you for a fact that no matter whatever the APC has continuously do, APC cannot win election in Nigeria except they continue to rig election, just like Lukman posited.
All right.
And I think Mr. President, for the hope that he has continued to tell Nigerians that he wants to renew. There is need for him as a Democrat who agitated for true democracy. You know, like Theodore Roosevelt said, that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Nigerians believe in the beauty and the future of Nigeria. And as a true Democrat, democracy is the only tool that can sustain the future of Nigeria. That is the reason why Mr. President needs to up his game. Thank you very much.
All right. Chizzy, I know you have a lot to say. All right, say your mind before I ask you the question.
Okay, first, let me say this. This particular statement by the Labour Party has been a recurrent statement. The AP said that against PDP.
Absolutely.
The PDP said that against the APC. Labour is saying that against the APC again.
So it's a situation of what goes around.
So this thing is that it's an admittance of the fact that you are not organized. You are weakening your members.
The Labour Party saying
yes.
That. Okay.
You're weakening your members. You are just telling them that you are not organized, that you are not united. Let me tell you why I said so. The last election, I want to say something. APC didn't win. Not because they rigged it. If you bring all the votes together, the vote of the PDP and the vote of the Labour Party, you will know that the opposition won the election, but they weren't together. If you allow yourself to go the other way, Obi left the PDP to the Labour Party. Kwankwaso left the PDP to his own party.
NMPP.
And of course, my brother and friend, FCT minister, also worked against the PDP. Now, these are PDP members working against themselves. So all the states that you saw Obi won were Abdisho PDP states, including Kwankwaso. So today they've started like that. They have not even come together as opposition to see that, look, this country needs to change. And this man, we need to work against it and come together to work to win the election. Nobody can win the election. APC won the PDP because they brought a lot of people together and won that 2015 election.
You mean the 2023?
2015 election.
Against good luck.
Against good luck. That's how they came together. Now, people are divided against themselves. Labour is there talking about, even in Labour, there are more than 5.
That's the thing. Now, Labour is alleging that the APC is funding the crisis in different political parties.
I said,
now,
as president, I will fund that kind of crisis for me to win. As president, I will do that.
All right,
it is for you now to say no to it.
Now, if you recall, NMPP to a large extent, let's look at Kano State, for example. NMPP to a large extent has been, is dominant in Kano State. And they have always been cohesive in doing things. And that's why it has been very difficult for another political party to even win councillorship in Kano State. It is NMPP through and through, the Kwakwansians and the Kwakwanso. Now, in Kano State, NMPP, for some strange reason, is now having crisis, internal crisis. And it's now factionalized. Governor Yusuf has been suspended. After a while, another faction came out and apologized and said he was never suspended. They brought him back, and back and forth. In Kano State right now, NMPP is having crisis. Now, that's a state with the largest voter strength.
Okay. Now,
when you look at it critically, one might say, okay, what is going on? Look at the PDP. PDP is factionalized already, having their own crisis. APC, yes, is having crisis, but somehow to a large extent, it's not as back. It's not balkanizing them like you can find in other political parties. So, what do you have to say to that? You are saying if you're the president, by the way, you would do what is. You would
I will do anything to make you get divided so I will win election. That's the position for you.
Are you saying APC is playing divide and rule?
No. Every incumbent will want to do something that will make him win. That's election. But for you, like you've talked about NMPP, I want to trace it back to where they started. It's not NMPC is Kwankwaso, isn't it?
Yes.
And his people. They brought Ganduje as APC. They were APC. So they were also PDP. Isn't it? They've been together for this long without being divided. So how come today there must be something internally that people have picked that they will come and divide you? Let me tell you something that happens. For instance, in PDP in the state, you cannot recall any time in the history of today's democracy, talking about since 1999 today, where APC won in the presidential election. In Rivers State. It has never happened. Now, but because the man who is heading the PDP, then, which is now the FCT minister, the man who is heading the PDP has something with the APC. So the APC, I mean with the PDP, the APC cashing on that. They just went there and say, let's catch this person. You as PDP, what have you done to reunite yourself immediately? Isn't it? Let me even say that. Shouldn't you even have given him the vice presidential candidate? If that's what you want to do. Or they are asking that they are saying that you should give them the national chairman. Shouldn't you have done that? I mean, you can come together, use your own internal mechanism to be able to hold that, knowing that the party will break you. Other political parties, they won't look at you now. Do you know what that means? For instance, like I've said, look at the votes that the PDP garnered in that election, 2023. Look at the vote of the Labour Party. And these were Atiku and Obi that was candidate and vice
that would have come together.
That would have come together. That was the first time in the East where another party is winning the presidential election. It has always been, see, the East is locked up with PDP. And what have they done as PDP? What had PDP done to the Southeast that has given them that vote from 1999 today? You're going to give people because somebody came and threw money until you feel that, okay, let us give it out. Now you know that, look at the energy of the country then. You know what the country was looking at? The country was looking at bringing the presidency to the South.
It was zoned according to the gentleman
agreement.
He was supposed to go to the South.
It was,
and Atiku was insisting, even though he was from the North.
Now, even if you had given it to Atiku, so many negotiations will have to go on because you have given it to him.
At least a South.
At least a South.
In your opinion, it would have been either OB or FCT minister.
Or FCT minister.
As the
because
vice,
you are not going
in order to balance it.
It's no longer, see, there was something that happened. Let me even trace this to you. There was something that happened when I was growing up, just quickly, when I was growing up. We had what we used to call enemy, family enemy. I didn't know how it started. And then one of those times in our wrestling festivals, they gave my father the opportunity to select those who were going to wrestle on our behalf. And my father went and took 3 persons from that our own enemy, the people that we used to call our enemy. And then he went there and the people won, and my father was all over them throwing them as a young child. After my father left, the next day I went to the people's house, and when I came back, just to call the show, my father beat me blue and black. And I was like confused. Why are you beating me? Yesterday we were all over. My father told me, when it is time for external fight, internal fight should go. You take the best. That's what it is. It's no longer about who is going to be loyal as vice president or who is not going to be loyal.
It's about being strategic.
No matter, see, 85 million vice presidents is not up to the president.
All right.
So that's what, so they lost it. Now they are crying again. The Labour Party that were hopeful, that it means that I'm sorry, that my brother and friend Obi cannot organize Labour Party. His own party. He cannot sit down to sit down and say, okay, somebody is coming here because they gave them money. These are the people who saw that money and refuted that money, and people started voting. Look at the shouting in, I'm not going back to Edo, look at the shouting in Edo, that so many other political parties have not submitted their agent list. My sister, if you're a politician, you know that if you do not have agents in a particular police unit,
you've lost election in that unit.
Lost election in that unit.
And probably that was one of the things that affected Labour Party.
Of course, instead of them organizing themselves, they were accusing them that they do not have structures. Right now, instead of building the structure, you are there saying this person is the other person, and Obi is saying, no, I don't want to put my mouth. How? Politician. No, that you have to.
All right. Lan, very quickly, because I've been sensing your reaction. In a minute, Lan, can you very quickly posit your mind on this very quickly?
Submission I have is just very simple. Nigeria is a state where the INEC Act has given room for multi-party system, and the 2022 Act as amended has also endorsed individual and independent candidacy. So I think that right now, Nigerians, in the words of my amiable governor, His Excellency Samu Bosinebo Seminale Fubera, that political parties have failed Nigerians. Therefore, everybody should return back to candidates and individuals that they believe in that can salvage the situation and the economic bottlenecks that they are faced with.
Fair enough. Human rights activist Omoyele Sowore has listed 15 critical demands from Nigerians as part of the upcoming Days of Rage protest. The protest tagged End Bad Governance in Nigeria aims to address the country's governance challenges. According to Sowore, a former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, the demands were compiled from inputs received from Nigerians participating in the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. The demands are directed at President Bola Tinubu's administration and are considered non-negotiable by protesters. The Days of Rage protests scheduled for August 2024 have been preceded by the demands published by Sowore on his X account. The 15 demands from Nigeria include a call for the President Tinubu administration to do the following. Well, for the basis of this conversation today, we'll look at the number 5, the 5th demand, and the demand says, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally and demilitarize the Southeast. All NSAS and political detainees must also be released and compensated. Let me start with you, Chizzy. What is your take on this?
That is one of the things that ended the NSAS protest. If you begin to get it, you see, Nigeria, we are more ethnically biased than we think we are, or that we claim we are. Yes, of course, I will call on the government to release Nnamdi Kanu. But that shouldn't be part of the demand for the protest, so that it don't bring down lower than the protest to what I would ethnic divide. Let me tell you this. It is enough that we're hungry. It is enough that Nigerians are hungry. I'm sorry to say it here publicly, that I have led a group called ICU Group for more than 15 years. And yet, I was running to beat up this place because my car is done and it's gone. So Nigerians are hungry.
Sorry about that.
No, don't sorry me. It's for us to, because it is not for poverty of what I can do or what I can create. It is because the policy does not even favor you. Who does that? This thing, so the hunger itself is enough point. We don't need 13 points. We just need that, look, bad governance and hunger is enough for us to go and protest. All of those points, so that you don't reduce it to certain things, or you are trying to call it favor.
Now, the APC government is saying, probably the point you've made could be one of the reasons why the APC government is saying it, particularly after their National Working Committee had meeting with the APC Governors Forum. They came out to say that they have gone through the list, that it's politically motivated, that they are not, this list is not addressing hunger in the land, but it is, everything here is politically motivated, and it's something that will be done through the Constitution and through legislative means. So it's that the points listed cannot be implemented immediately. Now, in your own opinion, Chizzy, you are saying that the 15-point demand is unnecessary. It should just be about hunger.
And bad governance. You know, that is what we should happen.
But when you look at the points that are being stated here, bad governance, when you look at it, you can also categorize these things into bad governance.
No, see, it is bad governance that has given birth to those things. It is, you see, address the murder case, the matter. It is bad governance that has given birth to that. As a father, if I cannot provide for my family, they will not go to school.
Okay.
They will not feed. They will not transport. Those are items under that.
All right.
That's because I have not provided for. And because I didn't provide because I don't have a job.
All right. Fair enough. Honorable Ann, what is your take on this 5th point? Release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, demilitarize the Southeast, and then the NSAS and political detainees should be released and also compensated.
Choma, thank you so much on this particular topic. I think on different fora, I've really reacted on issues with regards to Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration. Let me start with the last submission, which is the NSAS protesters on the 20th of October 2022, precisely. The Bible said that a man who cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. And at the state where Nigeria is, what led to the NSAS protest to talk about, it was also as a result of impunity in the highest order. When those who swore, who took oath to defend and safeguard our lives and properties, continue to become tools to continue to, give to the citizens excruciating pain. Today, we see what is happening among the political class. The few political class, I continue to tell you that over 100% of Nigerians, 93% are full Nigerians who are non-office political holders, while the remaining percentage are the few political office holders. And just these few political office holders are the ones that go about with tons of security personnel. Some of them, you see, just one political office holder has over 8 to 9 armed, heavily armed policemen. And you continue to ask, why should somebody, just because you are a political office holder, continue to go about with multiple escorts and the rest of them? Is it that these escorts are aiding and abetting you in, misappropriating or carrying away our funds, or that they are safeguarding you against the people that you are supposed to be relating with? Because come to think of it, look at the level of economic hardship that Nigerians are going through, and as well as the economic sabotage that the Nigerian government today are confronted with. I want to take you a little back. We have an indigene in the person of Alhaji Dangote, who came to establish a refinery so that our God-given natural resources, instead of it being exported at a God-unforgiving price and given to Nigerians at a very, deplorable state, he said, let him come and invest in Nigeria, only for internally him to continue to be sabotaged, both within the National Assembly, the NNPCL, and the rest of them. Now, coming down to the case of these NSAS protesters, these people came out to say that there is a lot of ambiguity among the security agents. Then, before, when you see the members of the SARS, they molest you even when you're well-dressed, so looking good, and they will ask you, why should you look so good? Choma, just like the way I admire your beauty this morning and how ravishing you look like. And somebody, because they are carrying arm and they continue to molest you, continue to make you look less of yourself, I continue to wonder, is any Nigerian more Nigerian than the other? The answer is no. Now, taking it back to the case of Nnamdi Kanu, Choma, let me tell you that it costs Nigeria nothing to release Nnamdi Kanu. And as a matter of fact, it profits Nigeria more to release Nnamdi Kanu. Reason is that, if you're not aware, I will inform you that over 3 oil wells today, especially within the southeast, are non-operational just because of the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu. And also remember that on different courts of Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu has continued to face trial, and the Nigerian government has not been able to come out to tell Nigerians what Nnamdi Kanu has done for him to be incarcerated. Yes, our constitution, based on the introduction and preamble, said that as a nation, under one God, we are indissoluble. Therefore, anyone who continues to incite people negatively is seen as treason. Okay, fine and good, but that is until a court of competent jurisdiction with facts presented before it, do that. But now, for the fact that the Nigerian government, and as well as some learned justices within the Judicial Council, has come to advocate and advise the federal government that Nigerian government should go about to settle with Nnamdi Kanu out of court. I think that that is the best or the simplest of all the advice that we have seen in recent times. And I think that it is very important that the Nigerian military, because I'm sending this message direct to Mr. President, he is the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and also the Chief Armed Forces of the Nigerian Army. He should demilitarize the Southeast, because if you look at the internal insurgency that Nigeria is facing today, take for instance what happened in Omahia yesterday. Some unknown gunmen had an exchange with the security personnel. Why does these things continue to happen? You now ask yourself, as of 1999 to 2011, was Abia State in this state? You know, you ask yourself again, even the so high demanded Boko Haram and the all sort not that we continue to witness within the Borno state and the rest of them, we have never seen the military architecture within these states as it is within the whole Southeast. Yes, I want to applaud Mr. President. Let me also use the opportunity to tell Mr. President kudos for giving assent to the Southeast Development Commission in terms of trying to rebuild, the Southeast zone, because you understand that there's a lot of economic challenges that the Southeast has continued to face, which has continued to truncate even those who are in government, to be able to micromanage or harness the natural resources that Nigerians are blessed within the Southeast. Take for instance in kaolin, in zinc, in iron ore, and some other natural resources. But today, the Nigerian military, having their weapons and all their ammunition here and their heavy weapons within the Southeast, you ask yourself, is Southeast Gaza Republic? Is Southeast Israel, or what they call it, Afghanistan? The Nigerian military will continue to. Nigerian military is supposed to defend us against external aggression. I think it is the responsibility of the Nigerian police and other paramilitary architectures like the immigration, the NSCDC, and the rest of them to continue to support the police, agency, in curbing the menace, and as well as with good policies by the government of the day in curbing the vices that are found within our society. So I think that it is profitable for Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu, as well as it costs them nothing, and as well as to release all those who were incarcerated during the NSAS. And again, I want to submit lastly that Mr. President was part of those who also advocated for protest. If you remember vividly, during the Nadoko days, Mr. President was among those who escaped Nigeria when the likes of Abacha were looking for him. So I think that it will be uncharitable for Mr. President to continue to, tell Nigerians we shouldn't come out to do what the Constitution has given right to the citizens to do, which is the least of them all, protest. So there is need for them to adhere to all the, just like my brother said, I wouldn't want us to continue to say religion or whatever. We're talking about Nigerians, because even a man from the Southeast and a man from the South and a man from the Northwest are also going through the same pain and challenges that Nigerians are going through. And the same challenges that Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration has caused is also causing tension even in the North, if you are not aware. So just like the same way Ezazaki was released, just like the same way Omoyele Sowore was also released, just like the same way every other Nigerian were all released, there is need for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. Thank you very much.
All right, Chizzy, now you made mention of ending bad governance, and you also talked about hunger should be the focus of the protest. Now, still on the point of releasing Nnamdi Kanu, you recall that one of the issues that have bedeviled past administration has been the IPOB agitation, the agitation of the Southeast people. You can't sweep that under the carpet, can you? Because when you recall Amnesty, NNDDC and Amnesty to the South came as a result of agitation. They agitated, and to a large extent, Goodluck Jonathan was able to extend, even though he carried over the vision of Yar'Adua. And to a large extent, the agitation in South was quelled and bloodletting stopped. Mieti Allah president was incarcerated and he was facing charges of treason. And when Tinubu became the president, the charges were dropped and he was released. Sunday Igboho was, I think he was either in Kenya or so. He was there on exile. He came back as soon as Tinubu became the president. Sowore as well. I can go on and on to tell you people who had issues as a result of similar matters, and now they are working free. The question would be, why not Southeast? Why not extend the same magnanimity to the Southeast, considering that to a large extent it will, engender cohesion. It will give a sense of belonging to the people of the Southeast. This is one cry. And the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, to a large extent, has led to a lot of crises in the Southeast. Talking about, initially they said it was IPOB, and then afterwards Simon Ekpa came out, and then ESN, the Eastern Security Network, started, and bloodletting started. After the Eastern Security, particularly in Imo State and the Hiala, going to Anambra, you see the Omoma, and then Governor Odema brought his own Ebubago.
So I'm surprised you get to know those names.
Why wouldn't I know? I'm a journalist. I read, I research, and I visit. So now, in the Southeast, a lot of killings are going on that are not even being put out there in the press.
Okay.
Won't this, to a large extent, not only endear the government to the heart of the Southeasterners, but also to a large extent, quell insecurity in the Southeast?
Okay. Chioma, what I have said is not that releasing Nnamdi Kanu shouldn't be done. That's not what I said.
It shouldn't be the Bible point of the protest.
The Bible says that a king protects the city of his country through justice. Through justice. See, all of these things came because of bad governance and injustice.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. That if you have justice in this country, I will tell you that nobody in this country will want to even go. That's what I'm just saying. That's why I said, let us hammer on the same thing. Like it said, the South started their own war. When they gave it to Jonathan, we stopped. As if we were all looking for presidency.
There was peace everywhere.
There was peace everywhere. And
the amnesty as well.
The amnesty. So does it also mean that what we were looking for was the president or the good governance?
The question would be, why is it that the government only responds to violence?
That is the bad governance that I'm talking about. The violence is even brought about by their own the bad governance I'm talking about. It is because of the bad governance. I have said so that INEC should play by the rules. If you do that, the people will not be arguing. For instance, if somebody knows that he went to exam and wrote an exam, you see how all of this education fell to where it is now. It's because I go to the same interview with you. I know you weren't in the interview, and on the day of employment, then you were employed. Then I will do everything to get my own money. That's just it. So what I'm saying is that let us hammer on good governance and the hunger in the land. Nnamdi Kanu, of course, he has said something. The court has brought Nnamdi Kanu. They've gone to one court or the other. He have released people. So why didn't he also release him? That's not even an issue for me. It's an issue that we even talk about. That's an issue that has been done.
But so, it has not been done. So
it is not done because we do not have good governance. It is not done because of justice. It is not done because, you see, that's because it's in Nnamdi Kanu. There are so many persons in every ethnic nationality or hamlet that have been locked like that. So if you bring justice, you will give to, somebody quoted, a minister quoted that they went to the prisons. In fact, I went to prisons, I did a research on prisons, and then you find out that 70% of those who are in prisons are waiting trials. And 70% of the trials do not know why they are there.
Not even tried.
Not even tried. So justice is the thing. Let us say, okay, for instance, if you go, what has Nnamdi Kanu done? Say, my people, I want my people to go because the country is not doing anything for us. That's the thing he has done. Why is he saying that? Is it because the country has not done anything for us?
Interesting. We'll leave it here at this point, and hopefully tomorrow we'll still bring you more stories and discuss more points on the nationwide protest. Thank you so much, Chizzy, for coming on Open Conversation. It's a pleasure having you. And thank you, Honorable Wisdom. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Oma. I really appreciate it. And I want to say to all Nigerians, let us continue to be law-abiding citizens and let peace prevail. Thank
All right.
you.
And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for adverts, placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
She said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the